Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday night live stream. Kyle, do that thing you do.
Good Friday, everybody. Glad everybody could be here in the side chat. We got an amazing panel. We got a couple of special guests, and we can't wait to just dive into this. Glad everybody could be here, including the panel and the side chat. CW, what you got going on, man?
Hello, everyone. Glad you made it. Good to be here. It's been a long week for me. Not a lot going on video-wise. I did get one up over on Rumble, and I did get a whole bunch of bullets cast up for our friend Big Al. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. Walter, how was your week?
My week was fantabulous. As Willie would have said, I made some beautimous bullets yesterday. I had a big casting session yesterday. I cast 5 different molds, 4 for a buddy and 1 for me. And so the 3 of those 4 that are going out to New Mexico Mike were molds that I had never cast before for 41 mag. Why? Because I don't own a 41 mag, but I got all the molds. So he's getting a bunch of those because he's just getting started into it. So I sent those off to him today. Sent him a bunch of bullets, and I went shooting Wednesday night, and I'm going shooting again tomorrow. And I just got off the bench just before we started loading up some 38 Especiales and some 38 Superados. So I'm going to go shoot that stuff tomorrow.
Time out. Maybe that needs to be one of the topics. At what point does how many molds and how much brass do you got to have to justify going and buying another firearm in that particular caliber? So we'll revisit
one
that.
will do it.
Yeah, it will. Scotsman, how you doing this evening? Thanks for being here, brother.
Doing all right, man. You know, it's good to be here. It's good to be Friday. It's been Monday all week for me at work. I swear, man. It's been Monday all week. So definitely good to be here. Definitely good to see everyone out there in the side chat. Always appreciate being here. And yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about. So looking forward to it.
Thanks for being here, man. Bama Dad says, shh, my wife is watching. Okay, so we can't talk about Bama Dad's girlfriend while his wife's watching, right? I stepped off in it the other week. We'll talk about that a little bit too. Nick, Millsarp Duo, first time on the Georgia Shooting Connection. Welcome.
Thank you,
Welcome,
Jamie.
and welcome.
Thank you, guys.
buddy.
So, yeah, I agree with like Scotsman. It's been a crazy week for me as well. It's going to be a crazy couple weeks. Hopefully close on the house here in a couple weeks, get in there, get a bench built quickly, get the vault room built. I'm kind of in a mode where I haven't reloaded a round in 6 months. So I'm in that jitters. Haven't shot a gun in probably 3 months. So I need to get some relaxation, some time back on the bench. So yeah, channel's been put on the back burner for a while as well. And so yeah, just excited to be on here again, and thanks for having me on, Jamie.
We got to get those numbers up, brother. We got to get those numbers up.
Oh, that's the plan. Is that when I get in the house, there's a gun range only 10 minutes away from the house, so I'm gonna try to join that gun club. Of course, be out there more. Bad thing about it, I was working weekends when I was back in Illinois, and so I didn't have much time to do much at the bench. Plus, working 2 jobs, it was just hard to do. So I'll have a lot more free time to do stuff. So.
Well, we're getting a pretty good crowd in the side chat over there already. So, last but not least, my brother from another mother, the hillbilly himself. What's going on, American Hillbilly?
Hey, buddy, what's going on, man? Oh, glad to be here. Always looking forward to Friday nights, man. We got a rock and roll side chat out there already, man. They're just having fun out there. And I'm waiting on some fun. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Man, I've made some videos this week. After posting 5 videos last week, which was kept me pretty busy. I only posted 1 video. We had Rossi out and see if we could catch a bullet in a Gatorade bottles or Mountain Dew bottles, and we caught 1 out of the 2. So that was a lot of fun. And got some other videos coming up that's just I'm excited about. So. But yeah.
My dog's in there raising all kinds of sand, but he's my baby. I got to bring him down to Kyle's house, but I'm afraid that him and Baloo won't get along. He's about somewhere between 60 and 75 pounds, but it's hard to weigh him. But one thing I wanted to tell you, Hillbilly, you remember me telling you about the spring kit and slick up thing for the Rossi 92 and 357. I got one of those, and I'm gonna try to do a video about putting it in there, but I'm also probably gonna have to do that on Rumble because things get pretty sideways over here sometimes. But man, we're just happy to be here. Happy we got some folks out there watching us. We got 36 already, and
all right.
Special howdy to Mr. Andy 79Z28. I've been seeing all them unboxing videos. Andy has been a busy man, and I got a box over there. I'm gonna try to get out to him this coming week. It ain't quite full yet, Kyle. I don't know what to tell you, man.
I got 5 more buckets we can dig through, brother.
Yeah, but how many hours have I spent sorting wheel weights?
That's been a minute.
Oh, man. There's AR Guns said he's seeing small pistol primers for $59 a brick online.
Oh, crap.
Throw a link up there, man.
Yeah, come on, AR, share, man.
Please.
That's like I want to know. I'm seeing large rifle primers from this place for $80 a thousand, and when you buy over $199 worth, you get free shipping. I'm like, it's called MidwestPowders.com. Has anybody ever heard of it?
I haven't.
Okay, I'm not going to jump on anything until
Yeah,
I get
search through them
confirmation.
first because you know how it goes. There's some bad guys out there. But
Yeah, it could be some guy in Afghanistan just wanting your credit card information.
That's probably what it is.
Tommy Boy's a good one. He tends to know all these things, and there he is there.
Right.
He'll make
look.
a comment if that one's if he knows about that one.
That's a good deal. I'll take some large rifle.
That's 90% of what I load is large rifles. So if I can find a bulk buy on large rifle, I'll buy them.
I'm just
And that's
glad
good news,
that
Tommy. Look at that.
It's finally starting to come back down, and I think it's mostly because us as a society quit buying it. You want to charge $118 for a brick of 1,000, you can sit on them.
Yeah.
Well, I think also we're starting to see the Fiocchi primers because the Fiocchi plant finally got up and running, and I've been seeing them here locally. So,
is that the one in Tennessee?
I thought it was Arkansas.
Okay,
Missouri, Arkansas. I can't remember. They're opening them all over the place. It's hard to keep them straight anymore.
Well, open more of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Tommy Boy says those under $6 ones were at the Sportsman's Warehouse. I don't have one in my area, but I know a lot of folks do.
Yeah, we've got 3 guests that can't make it tonight. Chris from 740, he's got a match in Pennsylvania in the morning. He's leaving at 3 o'clock. I'm like, dude, that ain't morning. That's the middle of the night. So, and of course, Gene, reloading from the hot pot, is out to dinner with the beautiful Christine and somebody else. Oh, I invited Tennessee Picker, and he wants to talk about the. He can shed light on the shortages and the prices that we're seeing. Alan B. Pro, what's going on, brother? Good to see you out there, man. We'll go through the side chat here in just a few more minutes. We'll let a few more folks come in, and I'm gonna go shut my dog up. I have to throw him outside.
Just bring him over here. Baloo will shut him up.
That's kind of what I'm afraid of.
No, they'll just be chasing each other around the backyard. That's all.
He ain't got no quitting sense. There's Ashley Ammerman. Hadn't seen that name out there before. Welcome to the Friday night live stream.
Welcome aboard.
Gizzard Gary's with us.
Yep.
Hey, Gizzard.
What's up, Gizzard?
6-shooter Texans here.
Jason Stewart's out there. What's going on, man?
I got people looking at me like, who the hell are you talking to? I'm like, you don't know.
So yeah, we'll have there's Mr. Pollard. So Mr. Scotsman, you want to take the floor for a few minutes?
Sure, buddy. All right, folks. So if you haven't seen the video already, go check it out. But here's what we got going on right now. So our good friend Lakeview Outdoors, Tony, has a lot going on with his wife right now. She's not very well, and bills are piling up. So we're gonna do what we can to help out, and I'm gonna do what I do best, is be the weasel. So we are trying to raise $10,000, and I know it sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but he needs it, and you guys have never failed me yet as far as any of this has ever gone. So I know we can do it, and I know we can do it in a timely fashion. I can tell you right now, I already have a bunch of emails and a bunch of text messages to the point where we are $1,000 in already, and then some. So we're not even half a day into this, and we're already at $1,000. So we're rocking and rolling already. You guys have the option to either enter for a prize or not enter for the prize. That's up to you guys. And the prize is simply going to either be a custom pistol or a custom rifle built by yours truly. So you have that choice. If you do enter and you do win, that'll be your choice at the time. So biggest thing is helping Tony, man. Tony's been a very good friend of mine for many, many years at this point, and we definitely consider him family, so we help her own.
Scroll the link, Jamie. I've been
I think one of the things we should talk about is how we go about making our donations. I think probably the simplest way is going to be to mail a check to the Scotsman.
Yep. So you guys can email me, and I'll work it out with you exactly where you can send the money to, and once we get a decent amount, I'll start sending him money because I'll have to send him checks. He's old school, so I'll send him a check as soon as I have a decent chunk. I'll send a check until we get to that point.
All right, cool.
And Alan's right, man. 10 grand, it sounds like a lot. It really is a lot. But when every one of you guys come together, we've done 14, 15 for C-Max. I mean, heck, we threw out the goal before of he threw out the goal before of $7,000, and we doubled it to 14,000, and we had it in no time whatsoever. So I know it's doable. You guys always rock and roll with stuff like this, and it's one of the most awesome things I ever see is you guys coming together.
Yeah, it's very doable.
I'll be right back. I got to be sociable.
I hear you. Those of you might not know Kyle's got out of town company in tonight, so um, some of the ladies, Kim folks.
Official out of town company.
So, Hillbilly's crowd, thank you for sharing the stream tonight, Hillbilly, and welcome all those watching on Hillbilly Nation Facebook and YouTube.
You
And
bet you, bud.
welcome all of those in. And I need to try to get Elliot a link, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to go over on the YouTube side to do that.
Send it over to him.
I can send him one, Jamie, for you. If you need me to.
No, I want to give him a wrench, not a link. I'm
Oh.
sorry. He needs a wrench so he can post links to stuff. And,
Needs one to fix that Corvette too.
well, you know what one of my favorite guys says, and I'm gonna clean it up because I don't like to say bad words if I don't have to, but sitting on your butt don't get your project done.
No, it doesn't.
And if somebody can tell me who says that at the end of their videos, I'll send them a JH586 sticker. It's always a 10 millimeter, Andy. You got it, buddy. I'm talking about it's the one we use all the time and we can never find them. I've got a theory about that.
100%.
This is my theory. We leave it sitting on the dash or on the fender well, and then when we test drive the car, it falls out on the road when it's gone forever. There you go, buddy. You know, a lot of us sit down.
Never been able to do it, man. I got to stand.
Let's talk about this. Over the 4th of July holiday, I've got a week off, and I'm building myself a new reloading bench, and I'm going to make it where I can stand up and load, and I'm also going to get me a high stool, like a.
I was going to say, that's all you need. Yep.
And so,
See, like I have a high stool, man. Like I'm on one right now, but I do not feel comfortable sitting down reloading whatsoever. I've always got to stand. It's just not comfortable to me.
I stand most of the time. Every once in a while, you know, my old joints or feet or something says you need to sit down.
Oh, Dave.
So I'll every once in a while sit, and I use a high rolling type office stool so I can kind of scoot back and forth across the bench on it. But the stand, then I have all my stuff is on the inline fabrication stuff, and I've got their little booster piece that goes on, you know, on top of your base plate, and then you put this 9-inch booster, and then you can go ahead and mount the presses to that. If I'm sitting, I take that out, and it brings it back down to seated level. But standing, I like it because you can see down in that case and see your powder better.
Yeah, I think that's the best of both worlds. You build a standing bench, and then you get a good high stool. And then if you want to sit down, you can. But if you make a short bench, you're limited. You know,
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, if it's too short, you can only go down so far with that handle.
Yeah. But give a good thinking about your width, Jamie, because as you go higher, you can't reach the back, so you can't do as deep a bench when you go taller.
I was actually
Yeah.
designing mine about an hour ago, starting to sit down and design my new bench. So I'm probably going to go 25 inches deep is probably the depth I'm going to go.
I'm going to do 24 inches because I'm just going to buy sheets of plywood, 3/4 inch
Right.
plywood, and have
Rib 'em,
them
yep.
rip it.
Yep.
And it's going to be 2 feet deep by 8 foot long. And then I'm just going to frame under it and around it and
Yep.
have shelves underneath and up. This is my question. What height? I know it's going to depend on how tall I am. I'm 5'8", so I'm thinking 40 inches, maybe 42, maybe 38, somewhere around in there.
I think I did 42 at my last bench at the old house. I think that's what I did. I'm trying to remember.
Well, how big a boy are you?
I'm 6'1".
Yeah, I'm
6'1",
not.
leaning towards 6'2", so
There's always that kind of rule of thumb. If you're sitting or standing, I believe you want your elbows comfortable on the desk or bench. So that depends if you're sitting or standing and your height, I guess.
Yeah. Mine's 38, which is a little too low for standing, but then again, I have that inline fabrication booster piece that goes kind of in between the base and the top plate, and that takes me up another. I have one that's 9 inches, but I think the one I use the most is like a 4-inch booster or something, and it gets it up to the right height.
Yeah, they have the 4 inch, the 7.5 inch, and the 9 inch.
Right.
I believe. I think it is on 9.5, something like that.
And those things work. I mean, they pop in and out with just 2 nuts, just like the regular base plates do. It's an instant change.
Yep.
To go from seated to standing. I really like it.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I use
love
the
you,
inline as
Dad.
well, and I just use that little spacer that they make. I think it's a 1/4 inch spacer, so you don't have to Dremel in on your bench. I use that, and I don't have a problem. I love it. I can do quick change, and I'll even have a setup at the new house for my RCBS Lubomatic. So he's gonna make a
New
custom.
tax, no, he's not 6'1", but he still has an awesome beard.
Yeah, I'm thinking 40 inches. Pollard says his is 41.
Yeah,
So
I just mock up your press however you like it and run it mocked up, vice grips and clamps and such, and see what height you get out of that, and then build it off that.
Ashley, you're fine at 5 feet. My wife's only 5'2", and she still puts up with me. So that's an amazing thing. That's a fact, Fuzz. So let's talk a little bit about what goes on top of that bench. I wish Bubba was in here to hear this because I got kind of some stuff that I want to say right now that would be pertinent to him. Uh, 6 shooter Texan, do you stand or you sit 30 inches? 31. All right.
One thing, Jamie, too, and Alan threw it out there, and I don't know if you saw it, but he did talk about his as being adjustable, and there's no reason you couldn't make it adjustable.
That's true. That's good advice, Jason.
Yeah, I'd like my bench to be as the basic part, regardless of what's on top, to be as absolutely solid as possible. with no joints or anything that's going to move anywhere. I want 4x for legs.
Yeah, you definitely want to
And
overbuild it and attach it
yeah,
to the wall if you can, floor in the wall if you can.
and then everything else can go on top of that. What else goes up? You need a shelf, I think, somewhere back there, Jamie.
I
A
think
10-inch wide shelf at the back or something.
Andy listed he made his out of 2x8s. I usually use 2x6s and 4x4s is what I like.
Mm-hmm.
2x8 to me is a little overkill.
Yeah.
It just wastes the space underneath that I use for storage, but it certainly makes it a solid bench.
Mm-hmm.
But a double thick top, double thick 3/4 inch top is bare minimum for me as well. It's got to be rock solid. You want to drive a truck on it. You don't want it to flex or move.
Alan brings up a good point of the case feeder being too high. So my bench,
Yeah.
I'd have to go measure the height of the bench, but with the inline fab mount, literally when I'm standing up, if I put my hand all the way up, that's how tall my case feeder is. So I can,
Yeah.
it's just perfect for me. It's just the right height. If it was a couple inches taller, I wouldn't be reaching it. So.
Yeah. James Pollard is saying too. He's got an upper shelf. I don't know, James, if you've got a back a buckboard or a backboard back there for your shelf, but a shelf back at the back part of your bench to put your beam balance so it's at eye level, so you're looking right at that scale at eye level. That's a good way to go.
I use one by stock. You can get away with small pine for your shelves in the back, but that's something that I always do is I make sure I've got a shelf at eye level for my scale, so it's right in front of my face, no bending or tipping.
Yeah, and I don't have one, so I'm down here scooching down.
Something else that I do is get yourself a magnifying glass, and you can put it right in front of the pointer.
Another trick is you can put your cell phone right in front of it, and you can see it. You use the camera on your cell phone, because there's no parallax there.
I don't know. I don't know if it, because I don't do the reloading, but I am fortunate to have some of my benches been able to top them with some like 1/2 inch steel, and I absolutely love that. I mean, that makes the best workbench top that there is, and so I don't know how it corresponds with like reloading and stuff, but it sure works good for everything else.
Man, that sounds good. Nice, man. Look at all these ideas.
Yeah, those Husky benches are nice, Jamie. They're not exactly pricey. They're a couple $100, David.
What are you talking about?
The Husky adjustable bench.
Oh,
you get one of those. They're a couple $100.
Mm-hmm.
And they just got a crank handle, and you can crank it up or lower it. They're good value. There's not a lot to them. It's just the base plus the tabletop itself. But
I'm probably going to go.
They work well.
The new bench, I'm probably going to go 2x6s on the outside frame, a 1/4 or 1/2 inch plywood, and then our local Home Depot is running a sale right now on 6 foot by 25 inch butcher block countertops, unfinished, for like under $100. I'm like, deal. So I'll finish that.
That's no brainer. That's good stuff right there.
You're going to be sturdy enough as that 4x4 for the corners. And I'm actually going to do, if anybody, I know a couple of guys saw 2 weeks ago on the Reloading podcast, I'm actually going to kind of incorporate my Milsurp Duo name kind of thing in it. I'm going to get the 40 millimeter ammo cans, and I'm going to make drawers out of them. So,
yeah,
mount on the side. And
I've thought about this comment Tommy Boys put up there. So I'm going to put my 2x4 across the front. It's going to be flat, so I can mount my presses or my risers or whatever. All these great ideas, guys. Thank y'all so much. So we need
there's a ton of stuff coming up there. Sorry, Jamie.
we need to go through the side chat. What can we get them to type, guys?
Bench.
Well, there you go. Type in bench and we'll call your name out on the radio, TV.
Nobody misspell it.
Yeah, there's no T in bench.
It's exactly what I was thinking.
See, one of the cheating parts about this whole thing is when Walter comes up with the word to type, he's always the first one to type.
That's
Too
planned.
bad we don't give a prize away for that. So
I would decline.
I'm seeing new names out here. Hope y'all have a good time tonight and hope you come back. We got Walter Viejo, Tommy Boy, CW, Bearded Lunchbox, Duffer 426, Alan B. Pro, James Pollard, the Scottish American Tactical Fud, Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog, new Tex I Can, as opposed to the old Tex I Can. Bear Tactical, Dwayne 7834, Trees of Blowing. He did an unboxing today. Steve's Woodworking and Homestead. Georgia Trapping and Fishing, Hey Trapper, Info Bros, Harm, Bama Dad, Jason Stewart, Andre D'Angelo, Daniel God is my judge, Corners and Doors. I bet he could build a good bench. Walks Fletcher, Andy 79Z28. I need to come back to that, so I'm gonna pop that up there right now. Hobbies Hobo, Six Shooter Texan, Garage Guy 87901 guy, Reloader 762, Alan B Pro again. All right, guys. Hillbilly Up, Fuzz T Fork 8, and there's a link. Andy 79Z28 Milsurp Duo, Georgia Shooting Connection. That's Kyle. Del Pogue, M1A2 Abrams Tank Jag 1, Tactical Fud. There's AR Gun 1776, Burnaby Sanchez. And I think that's everybody.
You're getting better, man. You're getting better.
Yeah, but you can ask Pollard. I still don't read as good as Chico.
One thing I'd like to ask you guys about the reloading bench, it's something being like having a garage, my dad had a garage and body shop still open, but it's been there like 40 some years. So like something that we really pay attention to on certain benches that we like would make for the shop is we always had at least one bench that we wouldn't frame, like have the 2x4, 2x6, butted to underneath the table or on top of it, depending on if you're going to set your table down in the board or have it on top of it. We would lay flat because had the bracing behind it because we wanted to be able to C clamp or bolt, clamp something to that bench face and certain benches we had. And so that's one thing we learned out. We made a mistake, if you got a 2x4, 2x6, then it takes a longer C clamp or whatever to clamp something to the front of it if that's needed. And I'm not for sure, since I don't reload, if that ever comes an issue with you guys or not.
It definitely can be an issue because we can bolt or clamp all kinds of stuff up there, particularly when you're trying to figure out the orientation and layout of where you want your stuff to go. There's just your case trimmer can be C clamped. You got it, mounted to a little piece of 1x4 or something like that, and you can clamp that to the edge of your table because that's not something that's up there all the time. So that's a good point to have, an 1.5-inch, 2-inch overhang there. Not only that, but if you use the inline fab base plate that routers into your tabletop, that thing requires a couple of bolts up front to go through. And if you've got a by 4 or a by 6 up there, it's pretty hard to get that done. So you've got, if you got a little bit of overhang, doesn't take much, but an inch and a half or so is a good idea, I think.
Yeah,
easiest
it's something to
thing-
think about.
Easiest thing that I've found, my main reloading bench is a 1/4 inch, maybe it's 3/8, flat steel plate. That's the tabletop. And vice grips are your friend.
Yeah.
You can clamp anything to that solid steel table, and it's not going anywhere. There you go. Yeah, Fuzz says I use vice grips. But it takes 3 people to move it. So if I want to move it, I got to call some buddies. I mean, it's
Well,
it's a lot of weight.
you build a bench in wood, and you're going to need friends to move it if you build it right.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I can just use vice grips to hold my presses down, and
Yeah.
I use a lot of them. I got my Dillon. There's a Loadmaster. There's 2 shotgun presses. And I still got more in the basement on a different shelf.
Yeah.
Good night, Alan.
The other advantage of a metal top like that is that you can stick a bunch of stuff down there with magnets, and half of my bench is steel, like yours, Kyle.
Yeah.
And so I've made a couple of little, wooden bases and routed out the underside and stuck a couple of those, cheapy ceramic Harbor Freight magnets under there, like for a powder measure, and then
Right.
bump, and it sticks right there, and it's not going to move around on you. So there's that plus for a metal top. The metal's expensive though, and it's heavy. And it's hard to cut through.
Something else that always happens to me, and I mentioned it in one of my steal your stuff. Also, when you're working on things, they inevitably hit you in the top of the foot, and then go to the back corner underneath the deepest, darkest bench, never to be seen again. So I like to have shelves under my benches, but I seldom put them on the floor to stop that, because, well, frankly, the floors they're not perfectly flat, so you never get them quite perfect, and it can make the bench rock if you do that. So what I've been doing is taking a piece of 1x3 or something along those lines that'll bend and flex, and put it on the back side of the legs and screw it in just across the front. So anything that comes down, hits your feet or hits the floor, is only going to go into the bench, 4 or 5 inches and hit that board, and it's going to be right there. But it's a pain to put on if you don't put it on before you put your shelves in. So it's something to remember. Just a piece of scrap wood or a couple of pieces on the back of the legs on the floor, and it'll stop stuff from scooting to the back corners of the bench.
I was gonna mention Jason Stewart's comment. Yeah, you gotta watch Home Depot, man. Home Depot, their prices could be one day and jump the next. You gotta be real quick with them. You also gotta watch too, because they have some stuff that's clearance, but they don't say it's clearance.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta jump on it, man. But they do have some really good deals. You can find some good stuff. So.
Speaking of Home Depot, I'll mention one other thing in respect to reloading bench and surfaces, and this would apply to folks like me who have limited space. Okay, I live in a little small 2-bedroom condo. My whole condo is 1,000 square feet, and I think that counts the garage. I don't know. So everything that I've got in that garage, other than my main reloading bench, is on carts. So I've got my drill press and all my drills, all that stuff's on a cart. All of my molds and my pots are on a cart. But Home Depot has a really stout husky cart with that 1.5 inch by, I think mine is, my casting cart's 52 inch by 24 wide on locking casters. That sucker is stout, and you lock that in, and it ain't going anywhere. And you could easily make it. It's at the right height for a reloading bench. In fact, I've got an inline fab mount on that casting cart that I've got also, because sometimes I put a press on there. But that lets you move your bench out of the way and stick it over in a corner someplace in your garage and still have a very strong reloading bench. The top on that is just really, really strong. So I just wanted to bring that up as an option for a limited space person. You know, if you got a tight garage like I do, stuff needs to get out of the way when you're not using it. So.
See, this is my thing, Walter. I'm wanting to build this bench in my reload room. Uh, y'all got to remember that uh, my reloading room doubles as the wife's junk storage. So every time I'm continually organizing and throwing stuff away and putting stuff up, and then the next day I come home from work and she's cleaned up and it's
I'll tell you right now, Jamie ain't lying. I've seen it.
so. This is what I'm doing is I'm claiming this room, and
I love it.
it's going. I'm going to build this thing in here. I really liked. I think it was Hobby's Hobo's idea about making it a standalone bench. This is the thing about that. I kind of want it up against the wall so I can do what Daniel says: put the pegboard in the back and that kind of thing. And then again, I liked Hobby's idea of having it in the middle, so that you can record stuff from the bench and have the wall in the background. But I don't know.
Yeah. I've always liked the idea of an L-shaped bench in a corner too, so that you've got a return on one side, so that you can reach over here and have stuff here while you're doing this, and maybe your scale can go on the L side or something like that. That's handy if you got room to do that too. I don't have room to do that where I am. But.
Julio made some changes to his bench. He made some jut outs a few years ago, and it is really handy. They don't have to be that big. If they come out a foot and a half, just enough that you can turn and work, that might be an option for you, Jamie. It doesn't take up as much room, and you might be able to stick one or two, or make an L. Stick one or two out. It might be an option. They don't have to be super wide, depending on what you want, what you need that space for. If you're just going to trim there, or you're just going to, do case prep there. Maybe you don't need a 24-inch wide bench. You get away with a 12-inch wide bench there.
And one thing to note for anyone out there that's new to reload and maybe doesn't know or is just getting into it and is wondering about space and options and all stuff like that, you can do it literally in this much space. You don't need a ton of room. And
come over my house.
Yeah.
When I first started, I literally had one of these small Black & Decker
Scotsman. Take a ride. It won't work.
You don't
maybe to start.
So
Pollard says design it to be
jump
self-cleaning.
into it.
I saw that, and he also says design a self-cleaning bench.
Yeah.
Any surface that's off the floor, anywhere in the house becomes the catch-all.
My brother-in-law had the same problem. He made himself a real nice bench, and every time he went to go down there to use it or down to do something, the wife had something all over it. She was all over because it was a nice bench, nice flat surface. So the following month, he spent like a month, three weeks. He made her 2 benches out of sheets of plywood. So they were 4 foot by 8 foot, freestanding right in the middle of the floor, in the basement. He never had a problem with her taking his bench again. She could spread out with multiple projects and multiple benches. She was golden.
And that's what I'm debating on, because I know my old house I had an 8 foot by 5 foot, but I had that 5 foot was also for my disassembly of my rifles, cleaning, all that, because my garage wasn't big enough to have a bench out in the garage. So now that my new house is going to have a nice big enough garage for a bench, that's where I'm debating what I'm going to do. So I'm probably going to do 6 foot, and then maybe put a 4 foot on the end for just like my brass trimming, annealing, stuff like that over there. And I'm also going to build a lower portion for my uh, office or computer like editing studio. And actually, you talking about like for magnifying glass and talking about recording, Jamie. Real Avid. I saw this at Shot Show earlier in the year. Makes a thing. It's not out yet. It's called the Smart Assist accessory system, and it screws right to your side of your bench, and you can plug these extendable arms in there. And then one has like a light, magnifying glass, and a spot you can put your phone in. So you put your phone in for the phone, and you can bring that right down in front and record. And so I'm probably gonna put that on my bench. And
you need a power strip all the way across the back with
I have
8 outlets and 30.
I think I have a 6 foot
Yeah.
bike bar. It's the only way to do it. So
I've got
There's
one.
no such thing as too much power or too much runway.
I've got at least a 4 foot power strip over there that I'm gonna mount on it.
Yeah.
And, I have one of these old timey workbench lights. It's got the arm that you can got springs on it, and you can extend it. The drawback is it's about that long, and it's a fluorescent tube light. So I'm gonna try to be finding an LED light for that. Um,
Go to Harbor Freight, man. If you got a Harbor Freight by you, go to Harbor Freight. They have pretty good deals as far as lights go. I got a 4 foot light. I think it was like 26 or $28, something like that. It's like 4,500 lumens, dude. The thing is bright as hell.
Well, I want to use that light, but I want an LED light bulb to go in that light, and that might be tricky, but that's what I want. See, fluorescents are going to mess with your digital scales.
Yeah.
And
there's LED lights that are designed to go into a fluorescent fixture.
right.
Yeah, LEDs have come way down. LEDs the way to go. I just changed all mine over to LED a couple months ago.
Well, right. Tommy Boy says Harbor Freight's got them for $18 right now. Yeah.
At one point, we switched every light in our entire house, outside lights, everything to LED, and we know an average of about $45 a month savings on our electric bill.
Wow, it's significant.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
And if you do shelves, always plan to put you some type of a light, LED light or something under those shelves, because it gets really dark under there. And I mean, you wouldn't think it would, but they help so much.
You guys are awesome, man. I'm telling you, y'all just blowing that side chat up over there. I didn't know this was going to be so popular, and this topic wasn't even planned.
We got to print that side chat out. There's so many good ideas on there. You could publish a book, Jamie.
I know it,
Jamie,
man.
also, there's always the fold up section you can always put on the end of a bench, but the hinges and just whatever size legs you need. And so if you're not using it, you literally can fold it up to give more floor space over there or something.
Oh yeah.
Those
I built a
super
drop down
handy.
shelf on mine.
Yeah,
I was about to say that. Yep.
Made a strut under it that diagonal strut that comes back and screws in really quick with a speed nut, and so that gives me I think it's a 12 by 18 inch surface right next to my press, so I can stick stuff over there, a powder dispenser or something like that. That's really handy too, and it just flops down out of the way when I'm not using it.
See, the problem with that for Jamie would be this: is as soon as he has it where it's flopped down, The wife's going to put something right there.
If Jamie goes in and marks his territory like a real man, she'll never go in there again. Don't worry about it.
Under cabinet putt lights. A pool table with flip up Dillon mount. There you go.
No, I like whoever had the idea of the Husky carts from Home Depot. That's probably what I'm going to make my casting bench out in the garage out of. So I think
Yeah, that's what mine's
veteran
on.
or somebody,
Yeah.
and you can bolt it right to that top, and it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah,
So
my
that's
casting
probably-
stuff
my
is in a
molds.
big old Husky. It's one of their big ones,
Mhm.
and I've got a lot of molds, and it's got one
Harbor
big
Freight
fat
has them
drawer.
too.
Yeah,
I have the Harbor Freight 5 drawer that'll go down next to the bench. That's got all my bench tools and everything.
Right.
But other than that, I'm looking for something that I can strictly put my casting stuff on. So I'm probably going to lean towards just do a nice cart I can just roll out in the middle of the garage and go to town.
Yeah, shelves and drawers are very helpful. I mean,
Yeah, I've got one 4-shelf unit there. I've got a 5-shelf Gladiator unit from Lowe's there, and a 5-drawer filing cabinet over there. So it's just a matter of getting stuff organized, getting.
if you use a Lee APP press for depriming, and that or bullet sizing, a pull-out drawer doesn't have to be big, but it could even be just a pull-out surface right below where that press would go. It's great because then you can put a catch container right there and drop your bullets right into that and then push it the heck out of the way when you don't need it. I wish I had a drawer under mine, but I had to make a little bracket thing with a cardboard box under it. But we had a pull-out, slide-out drawer or surface right underneath that where that APP is going. That would be great.
Good night, Jerry Bear. And,
Good night, Jared.
check out Mr. Pollard. I have 2 benches so that one is halfway clean. Yeah, let's don't clean it off. Let's just build a new one, right?
Yeah. You
It's
want a
more
clean
fun,
bench, just move all the stuff from bench A over to bench B. Now bench A is clean, man.
right? But I'm telling you, building a bench is a whole lot more fun than cleaning one up.
Oh, tell me.
It is, man. It's
I've seen some people buy a new car and buy another car just because they didn't want to clean the trunk of their old car out.
Or the keys wore out.
self-built powder shells. That's an interesting concept, Rebel. One thing before we get to the next thing we want to talk about is today is June 23rd. In less than 2 weeks, we've got July the 4th. Remember, 5 o'clock, 4th of July. Let Freedom Ring videos, people. Dave.
And is there a hashtag, let freedom ring with no spaces or anything? Or
Absolutely.
Yeah, anytime you go ahead and do the Let Freedom Ring, you do just hashtag Let Freedom Ring all together. Yep.
Yeah, I missed it last year, guys. I'm not gonna miss it this year though.
5 o'clock Eastern time, Steve. The only
The only one that counts.
the only time zone that matters. Hammer time. Yeah, baby. Let's talk about what presses we want to put on the bench, especially for a new reloader, which Bubba Cyclops is a new reloader. So he went with the Lee 4-hole classic cast turret press, which is a fine press And that was the decision that I made at the time. And I'm gonna tell you what, uh, they say hindsight's 2020, and I guess it is. But I I wished I'd have bought the rock chucker first. I do. And now I have a Redding T7. I have the old antique rock chucker sitting right back there. I also have the Lee. Uh, what do they call that? It's their little.
Oh, the Challenger.
The reloader.
No, it's a 4-hole
Oh,
progressive
the
press.
turret. Yeah, the
No,
classic turret.
No, the
No.
well, 4-hole was
1000?
the progress.
it's called
Yeah.
the Breech Lock Pro,
Breech Lock Pro.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and that was a gift from. Never mind. I have brain farts. Um, I do not have an APP press. And talking to one of my buddies today, I'm glad I don't. Go
So
ahead.
I'm going to address this comment of an APP as a must, and no, because that sucker over there is probably going to go in the burn pile or in the burn barrel, one of the two, because it's freaking trash.
I'm seeing a
And
lot of issues with them here recently. The new ones.
Lee has not helped me one freaking bit, and I'm kind of pissed off at Lee. So there will be a video, but more than likely that sucker's going to go in the burn barrel or the burn pile and get freaking lit up.
Boy,
I use mine
that's
manual
bad news.
and I size with it, and it works just fine.
Yeah.
But all that fancy feeding stuff nonsense, some people's work, some people's don't.
Mine
Okay.
works really well. It took a while to get it dialed in, but I size my large when I do a large batch of brass, like after I've tumbled it. I like to have my brass sized before I put it into my progressive or into my turret presses. I want it already sized because I want the first station to be an expander die instead. So if that shuttle thing worked good for me, but it took some time to get it figured out and a little bit of help from Andy 79 Z28. Had a couple good ideas. He was an early adopter, but mine is, I'm telling you, man, I've used that thing since they first came out, and tens of thousands of rounds of cases and sizing bullets gone through there.
When I first got it, Walter, it worked great. Absolutely worked freaking fantastic. I probably put 5,000-6,000 rounds through it, no problem. And then I started having issues, and I cleaned it. I've done all kinds of stuff to it, and then I talked to Lee about a week and a half ago. They sent me a new shuttle, and no difference. And when I was talking with the technician just didn't want to listen to what I had to say.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can get together. I've run into a couple little things here or there that I've figured out and gotten fixes for that make it work better. So we'll talk one of these days.
Really good advice, Edward. That's I always tell new reloaders that when the question is asked is go right to progressive or go to start with a single stage. And I always recommend the single stage because you're going to need it anyway. You're going to need it after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to use it for either depriming or you're going to want to use it for sizing. You're going to want to use it for priming. There's something you're going to need it for. So you're better off starting there. It's something you're going to need. It's not going to be wasted. It's going to be used, and it's going to be well needed.
And a single stage is not pricey. You know, all of the big boys make a good single stage press for not a ton of money. And you know, talking about today's market as compared to, you know, a progressive press, it's just a good start. You know, all your dies, of course, are going to transfer over. You know, all your other gear is going to transfer over. But that single stage will never go out of style on your bench. Guarantee it.
It
Like
is
right now.
the best $40 to $60 you will ever spend as a new reloader. Like you said, you'll always use it.
Like right now, you can get the Rock Chucker Supreme for $185 on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, Timmy.
your whole life. So
And
This is the thing. I bought the Lee 4-hole classic cast turret press as my starting press, and I used the daylight side of it, and I still have it. I still use it. I got the Redding T7 as a gift and treasure it because of who it came from, and same with the Lee Progressive. Um, but the thing is, I didn't have a single stage press, and I just needed a single stage press for certain things. So when you hear guys like us telling new reloaders to start with a single stage press, it's because you're going to need a single stage press, no matter what else you have or what else other equipment you have. You need a single stage press in your life. You just do if you reload. Now I use mine from for everything from sizing cast bullets to sizing rifle rounds, rifle brass to depriming, and you can go pretty fast.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just love my old rock chucker. That was a gift from Willie. It'll never leave that my bench. It just won't. Um,
Yeah, it's
it,
a great way to start because it allows you to focus on one step at a time and figure that step out. Figure out your sizing step. You know what's going on. You can get in there and look at it. You don't have to worry about that next one coming around in line and what it's going to do. And I think that's important. I'm with CW on that too. You know that first one probably should be a single stage press and get a decent one. You know, get one that you're going to have for a while.
Or you're going to use it for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
You know, I use mine for all kinds of things, sizing bullets. You know, if you're a beginning reloader and you decide to get into casting, you can use that, put a sizing die in there, and go to town. You know, you don't have to have another 4-hole turret or anything else. Just have that little $40 Lee press, and that thing works great.
Yep.
yeah,
it also depends on what you're loading. Like for instance, when I load for my Martini Henry, the rock chucker is the only thing I can load it on because it's 1.25 inch thread dies. You're not going to load that on a Lee 4-hole turret. You're not going to load that on 90% of the presses. So
Right.
you need something like that rock chucker. And plus, when you're sizing that brass, you're putting a ton of stress. So it's I've probably loaded or formed probably 200 cases, and I don't even feel like that press is going to break. It's just and they do the job, that's for sure.
well, see, I had one of those Lee C presses, the little small cheap ones, and I actually felt like I was fixing to break that thing on several occasions.
Well,
Yeah.
they can be broken. They're just pot metal. They're light
Yeah.
duty. I wouldn't do anything heavy duty on them, but they're usable, just
I've
not for
got
the
one. It's
heaviest
my
duty.
decapping station. You guys
Yep.
have seen my video probably on that. It just
Good
it
for
lives
priming,
on one
good
of
for
my cards.
decapping,
Yeah.
good for
fine.
pistol stuff. Just I wouldn't use any no case forming with it or
No.
any heavy duty stuff. I wouldn't use it. But the Lee Classic Cast is a fine press. It's as good as anything anybody makes. It's as good as any rock chucker. It's a fine press, but it's
Yeah.
also the same class of press. It's a big, chunky, solid cast metal press.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make those bushings too. That's pretty cool,
Right.
Dwayne.
That's actually how I size my bullets. So Lee's making those push through sizing assemblies.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of having a specific die and the bowl, you just take this blocking portion apart, put your sizing, basically
Yeah.
a bushing in
Pushing
there.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can
Mm-hmm.
go from casting or from sizing 308 to 312 in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. And their new style sizing dies are way less expensive
Oh
than the
yes,
older style, or you can still use those older style originals with a
Mhm.
breech lock system, but their newer style are $10. I mean, they're cheap.
Yeah. Well, and they can make them custom for you. I've had them do that for
Yep.
me already. Like I make a custom 268 sizing for like my Italian Carcanos. So
If I had to do it all over again, I would have started with the NOE bushing sizing die. Because, I mean, yeah, the die's X amount of money, but the bushings are like $7 a piece.
mhm.
Yeah.
I was paying $30 a piece for every caliber from Lee.
Yeah.
You know,
You got to buy their push rods extra from
Yeah.
NOE, but they have a much greater variety
Mhm.
of sizes than what Lee offers.
yeah, you want it 311, you want it 312, you want 313. What do you want?
Exactly.
And they're all, yeah.
The only downfall I run into on NOE is they are always out of stock of what I want. That's what I'm always
Right.
running into. It's like, oh,
And the thing about Lee and their new system is they're still limited as to the sizes you can get.
mhm.
Whereas if you're willing to wait uh, on NOE to get around to doing what they do, then you can get pretty much any size. I think you, Nick, you could probably call him and order what you want. You just have to
So
wait.
Lee started the customs again within the last couple months or last 6 months. So right before I moved, they were starting to make them, and I had to make that push through sizing bushing. So they're starting to do custom order stuff again. So being that they're starting to get caught up, and but like I called them the other day, asked about some custom dies, but that's different. So I got a guy that's made some custom dies. I'm gonna be ordering here in a couple weeks. So
I've not had the privilege to play with the Lee separate uh, inserts and all that stuff. I've just been using NOE because that's what I've had for the last 5 years. So if y'all think it's great, preach on it.
let me see. Let me jump on Titan Reloading, see what those things are running right now.
I think I paid like $16 for the original thing, and then like $10 or $11 for each of the bushings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got the conversion thing for bushing from Lee, so that it can accept their uh, quick change bushing things. And
Of course they did. They're $9 for the bullet sizer and punch for the standard. Now the custom runs are $12, and all it is, it looks literally just kind of like a socket. You drop that into a bushing or like a lock and load, or kind of like the Horny
Yeah.
lock and load system. You drop that in there, take out your bushing like on a rock chucker. That just goes in there. Your cup system, same thing as the old way. That just screws on. Your standard push rod goes in the shell holder. You're golden. So,
yeah,
but of course, right when I had them make it, they made a custom run. And they're selling them now. I should have waited.
Well, they probably used yours and then
They probably
did
did.
an overrun, because you go look on their on Lee's website, and go look into their dice or their sizing die section, and they always have a bunch of
Yep.
custom overruns, that they'll sell you.
I'm seeing like 4 more custom overruns I got to order here in the next month or two. They've taken so much of my money. Titan has.
Hey,
yeah, they're easier to deal with than Lee.
So being in Illinois, I could never order straight from Lee because of stupid taxes and all that in Illinois.
yeah,
I haven't tried it
Right.
since I've moved to Kansas yet. So
All right, let's address this question from Jason Stewart. Jason, what I use is the Lee Universal Deprimer, and then and you're going to see this in my 308 series. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the expander ball out of my sizing die and use the NOE mandrels to set my neck tension. I think that's going to work more better. There's Mark Thomas. We have a new member of the panel. Welcome in, Mr. Gene, reloading from the hot pot. What's going on, bro? Did you get your belly full?
Yeah, I got my oil got my car got fed with some new oil and got my belly full. I had the fish
Yay.
and chips off the senior menu.
All right. Hey, Gene.
What we got going on here, guys?
We're talking about we were talking about sizing bullets, cast bullets. Now we're talking about setting our neck tension with NOE mandrels.
Hmm.
Maybe I should show those. I wanted to do a video on it. Let me show some of these. And CW did a video on these. His were a different kind than mine, so they're still from NOE. Let me see if I can find the one that. Yeah, this is the one I'm going to use for 308. So bear with me a second.
Yeah, living in Ohio, I heard that thing about lead. They couldn't sell directly to me living in Ohio because of tax issues. So I just went through
Right.
Titan. But all the customer service I've had with Lee before that tax thing happened was excellent. I mean, they'd send me as many parts as I wanted. I had to pay $6 flat rate shipping. That was their gig. I had to pay the shipping, but then they would send me all the extra parts I wanted, which was great.
So I got this brass. This is 308 Winchester BHA, I think, or BMA match. This is from Reloader 762. Look at this stuff, man. It's just beautiful. He's already deprimed it and cleaned it. But how I'm going to be, let me get this over here, see if I can do this. See, you got this. This is a sizing, decapping die 308. Do I need to blow this up? Maybe. Come on, guys. I ask them. All right, here we go. All right, I got this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out. And I'll take this off. And this is your, this pretty much serves as your neck sizing. It comes back through there. They call it an expander ball. But rather than use that, I'll take this part off and put it back together and maybe just leave that whole thing out. I don't know. And then just size the outside of my case, which I just dropped in the floor, but it'll just go up in there and form the outside. Then, yes, it's going to make sizing 2 steps. But I've got this Lee Universal Flaring Tool. And the difference between the mandrels I've got from NOE and the ones that CW had is the ones CW's had were powder through, and you could use them with the die that also that expands the case and also puts the powder in. So what I'll do is I'll take the insides out. It comes with these 2 things, and then I'll put this mandrel from NOE. This one is 306 by 310, I believe. Yeah, 310 by, so you got a step right there that's 310, and then this main part right there is 306. And you're going to put that down inside there, and then I'll probably put this back in there to back it up. Then I can put this back in there, and what I'll do is I'll get it as close as I can by screwing the die in. I'm like CW. I don't like using this. This is aluminum and it's screwed into steel. And what's going to happen right there is if you get this too far down and you put too much pressure on it, you'll just strip this right out of the top, and that would be bad. That would be real bad. But that's the theory. What do you think of my theory?
The frogs like your theory. They're
Uh,
singing.
Walter has the right answer. Walks has the right answer.
I'm getting on walks a little bit.
But what I do like about this Lee top is the fact that it's hollow, so this piece can go right up in there, and you got that much more adjustability. It's pretty much for me its only redeeming factor. Did I do that right, CW?
He said, "Please enjoy this hold music while you wait."
I agree with you, Gene. 30-06. Best cartridge ever.
Man, it's
Here
two
we
world
go
wars.
again.
Exactly. I'm going there. 2 World Wars. That's all I got to say. It's the only time I'll say that.
Cornbread and
Actually,
270.
3 wars,
Happy
if you can
Free
truly
Friday
agree.
night right there.
Well, I work at a reloading supply, and I sort brass. I sort rifle brass. Let's see. The ratio between 30-06 and 270 is
10 to 1, probably.
10 to 1.
Yeah.
30-06 winner. So
I
we
would
know
go
who's
with,
we know who's
30
shooting
out
the
six.
best cartridge in the world. Everybody.
I love 270, and I really love and have used 308 a lot. But 30-06, it'll get the job done.
Oh, it got the job done.
Well, the best way to think about it.
For
What was
decades,
270
yes.
created off of? That's the thing to think about. 30-06.
It's
So,
it's its little brother.
yeah.
Little brothers are always jealous.
Well, I use 30-06 or 308 in the military a lot, and it was either that or a 50 cal.
Let me put it to y'all like this: I've never lost a deer with either one of them. So, Ashley, what do you want to know about the flags behind you? Did you have a question about those flags?
One more time.
She mentioned the flags in the background.
Sounds like just wants to see him, Jamie. Like, kind of tuck your head and show what they are.
Got the UGA.
My Georgia Bulldogs and the Second Amendment flag. And y'all may not believe this, but both of those flags were gifts from Jason Stewart. Thank you, Jason.
That is nice.
Awesome sauce.
And he'll probably have to replace the Georgia flag here next year again. Because they're probably going to win it again.
Wonderful.
They're probably going to win it again. The way their
Go
roster
dogs,
looks.
sick of woof woof.
My team can't win 5 games, so I don't got to worry about saying anything. So
Steve's Woodworking and Homestead, that would be an affirmative, sir.
Mm-hmm.
But so did the 270.
Say about 60% of your hunting cartridges today have come from Odd 6 one way or another.
Yeah. The thing about it is the 270, it can be created from a 30-06 casing. It has to be sized down, and it uses a much smaller, lower weight projectile. But it fires it so fast that it has the flattest trajectory of any hunting bullet that you can find. Like my 308, when we go shoot at 1,000 yards, I got to dial up 30 mils on the scope. I mean, I can hit it, but I mean, Jesus, You got to lob it in there like a football. But it still gets the job done. Then 30-06, it slings so much lead that it doesn't matter. Okay, somebody else talk now.
I'll say this: the only thing I use 270 brass for is forming 7mm Mauser. That's the only thing I use 270 brass for. So that I could make an odd 6, but I don't want to waste all my odd 6. I'll load that odd 6 to shoot out of my grands or my 03s. But that's
Well, Nick, it's been nice knowing you, buddy. I'll talk to you.
what. I don't
Real
hunt.
nice,
Well,
Jamie.
coming from Illinois, I couldn't deer hunt with a rifle, so there was no need to have a 270. So
Yeah, you got to use a straight wall case up there, don't you?
that's new. That just new this year. So before it was either bow, crossbow, or shotgun or muzzleloader.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, now they're
Yeah, well- starting
straight wall cartridges here. So
Yeah, we use sharp sticks and rocks around here.
I like those
I've actually
snare
killed a
traps.
deer with a damn sheath knife before.
So Jason says an awesome flag will be the Buckeyes one Jamie gets me next playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
We don't put up with blasphemy on this channel.
Well, we already did. Nick's still here.
I get picked on being the youngest, probably one of the youngest reloaders out there. So I'm used to it.
Yeah, after a while, you figure out how to get each one of these guys go. Watch this. I'm gonna get this guy right here. The best cartridge in the world is a 9mm being shot out of a 1911 with a 115 grain round nose bullet. Am I right or am I wrong? Go ahead, you can slap me.
I will have to disagree with you.
With the 2011 and
He's
the
gonna
other.
jump through the screen.
Yeah, Walter, you need a 2011 in the other hand.
Yeah, they're illegal in California.
Well, I was at the LGS today, and I walked in there, and I bought Miss Hot Shot something, and I was picking it up, and I looked over in the case, and there sat one of the Rock Island double stack 10mm 5-inch barrel.
And you bought it, right?
Nice.
I called. It's behind the counter now.
He said, I didn't
Oh,
buy
that
it.
would be fun.
I only took with me what I had to pick up her new piece.
I got that Rock Island 38 Super in 1911, and I'm kind of liking it. It was not an expensive firearm.
See?
I paid a little
See?
more than I should have for it because they're hen's teeth out here in California. There's only 2 38 Supers that are on our roster, so I found this one. I like it.
See?
Well, I
What I
like the
tell you.
caliber anyway. Caliber's great because I got
I
the
never
timber
steer you
on the
wrong.
other side.
And he loves it. It's a Rock Island 38 Super. He loves it. And I went over to his house. We reloaded some ammo and took it out and shot it. And thing shoots great.
Another local shop of ours has the Rock Island 22 TCM 9mm,
Hmm.
and it's used. And
Well,
they-
that
they-
guy up
they're still
there,
catching-
he's the one who steered me onto 38 Super. Said, "Well, you ought to go get 38 Super." Well, I said, there aren't any out here. And he said, "Well, you look around, you'll find some." And he was right. I like that caliber. I got 40 molds for 356, 357 size bullets, and all kinds of powders that work in it. And getting brass was a little tricky, but that guy down there helped me out and with some brass, and it's fun, guys. If you don't shoot 38 Super, it's a
No,
it's a
James.
viable
9mm mag is 9mm mag. There is such a thing.
yeah, but But you send these guys out there at 1,300 feet per second with 140, 150 grain bullet, and they fly flat and straight, and they shoot well. And there's some great molds out there. If you're a caster, I like it. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, Tommy Boy makes a great point right there. 38 Super is extremely popular in Mexico because they cannot have military cartridges. They can't have 9 millimeters, 40 cals, 45s. That has to be.
Well, they can't have anything the military uses. Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of that has been relaxed a little bit down there relatively recently. Somebody was telling me that they thought that they could use 9 millimeter down there now. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, that was the deal. And many of the South American countries also. And that's what kind of popularized 38 Super up here in the States is, we have, so many Mexican immigrants, they get up here and they become naturalized. They want to get firearms and shoot. Well, they're already used to shooting 38 Super, but there's only two that are legit for a civilian to buy in California, and that's the Kimber Commander size, 1911, and the Rock Island. That's it. And I got both of them now, so I'm happy camper. But that Kimber's a good one too. It shoots good.
I've shot Worm's got both of them too. I've shot the full size, and I've shot his little Rock Island snubby, and both of them just shoot spectacular. I mean, it's a fantastic cartridge. I don't know if I would trust it at 100 yards.
I'm with you there. I don't even know. You guys have seen my videos. I shoot it between 25 feet and 50 feet. That's kind of it for my handgun stuff. But I like that cartridge.
I've been kicked off of ranges for busting sporting clays at 100 yards with a Colt 45. They don't like that.
Yeah, no.
Heck, I think Jamie's seen me do it. Or seen me be kicked off. Or at least be scolded for it.
Good night, Andy. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Good night, Andy.
Good night, Andy. And Andy, here's a special thank you for all of that stuff you've been sending out lately to everybody. Man, you did a whole bunch of solids for a lot of folks out there over the last few weeks. So good on you for all of that, Andy.
And I just sent him another medium flat rate box packed full of zinc wheel weights.
Oh, good for you, Gene. Yeah, he needs it.
Yeah, and anybody else who's got zinc that they're not using, get a hold of Andy. He will be happy to take it off your hands.
I'll have another box for him next week. I got another 5-gallon bucket to go through, and I already got half a box in another tub. By the time I go through this other 5-gallon bucket, I'll be able to fill another box.
Good night, Doug.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Good night, Doug.
I'll keep him with plenty to play with.
That's one thing I got to find. I got to find a new lead distributor around here. I had all the little hidey holes back home, but I haven't found anybody local out here now.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I work for an engineering company, so we don't have any lead. I sit at a desk on a computer all day.
Just buy from Roto Metals when they do their sale.
Well, I'm only an hour and a half from Midway USA. So
Midway USA sells Roto Metals.
Yeah.
But you can get Roto Metals when they do their sales for free shipping.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
but
just hold off and get it then.
So you don't I can go and do a direct pickup from Midway USA. You can do like curbside because they're a warehouse, plus Graffs and Sons online is like 45 minutes from Midway USA. So just make a road trip day on a weekend or something. So
I was going to say, if you're in the industry where a tool truck, whether it be Snap-on, Matco, Mac, or Cornwell or whatever comes by, go out and talk to the guy, because he goes to tire shops.
Yeah.
And just tell him what you're looking at. That's how I ended up with. And hell, me and Jamie's gone through 3 5-gallon buckets in just the last week.
Yeah,
that's not counting everything that I've sorted out, melted down, and everything. I got a bucket right here. I can't even move.
And Nick, you're talking about moving, and you had mentioned earlier that you thought you were gonna maybe check out the local gun club. Talk to those people about mining the berm behind
Yeah,
the
that's
target.
that's the plan. Also,
That's
there's a
what I
lot of
do at my
guys.
club,
Yeah,
and there's only one other guy at my club, and it's a fairly good sized club that's doing this, and those people are literally calling me up saying, "Walt, you got to come out here and get more lead out of this berm." And it literally takes me 5 minutes to collect 90 pounds of range scrap.
yeah, yeah.
Good
There's a
You
lot of
Lord.
know,
guys I know out here that already shoot. They shoot muzzle loaders, so they're shooting that pure lead and some of that other stuff,
yep,
softer stuff. I need to get with them, see if they know any little hidey holes where they
yep,
get it
yeah.
from.
Talk
Or
Nick,
to them.
you said you're moving to Kansas, right?
yeah, I'm in the Kansas City area.
Okay. The show coming up after this, Gizzard Gary,
Okay.
him
Well, I know.
and
Yeah,
like
Gizzard's
Gun
like
Snob
an
and all
hour
that.
from me.
They're from Kansas, so
Yeah,
they might be able to help you out too on that.
yeah. I've been messaging Gizzard, so I'll probably get a hold of him whenever I get settled in the house, and so I'll find something. I
Well,
got a pretty good stockpile right now, so
the ratios between the junk and the lead is beginning more and more junk and less lead. But I've got two different tire shops. I get 5-gallon buckets for $10 a bucket. And what I do is I give that to the tire changer boys, and it's a courtesy, you know. You don't have to give them anything, but I talked to the manager. He said, throw them $10, man. Let them get something for lunch. $10 a bucket. Okay.
Fair enough.
Another tire shop my best friend owns, which is where I was getting my oil changed tonight. I just go pick up from him, and then we got another little local shop. I go in about the first of every month, and I usually get between a half and a 5-gallon bucket out of there. So I just go in and talk to people and go, hey, because nowadays it's
not
not
trying to hurt
it's not
man's feelings, but I talked to my Matco dealer, and he said, "Are you sure you want lead?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he says, "Round up a bunch of empty buckets, because that's what they put it all in, and then run down here to this shop right here. I've already talked to them, and they're good to go." I went
Here's
down there, and goodness gracious, I mean,
Here's-
Jamie
Did you
can
get a little
tell you-
bit?
Jamie can tell you, there's still 7 5-gallon buckets sitting down here, and me and him went through 2 of them in the last week, not counting everything that I've done. So, find you a tool guy and talk to him, because they can help you out.
Yeah,
I just
and make no mistake, sorting through your wheel weights to separate out the steel and the ceramic and the zinc from the lead takes some time, and you got to pay attention. And even if you're gathering range scrap like I do, there's a certain amount of equipment and time investment that's necessary to do that, and it's lead, it's heavy stuff, so a little bit of work, but nonetheless, I feel blessed to have this. Basically, my alloy base is range scrap, which is antimonial lead for the most part, about 3% antimony, and from that you can build just about anything other than shotgun slugs. So it's a great thing if you can get something going like wheel weights for free or range scrap for free. It takes your cost of a bullet from 35 cents for a jacketed bullet down to a penny and a half for a cast after you've added your alloys and stuff. Yeah.
we got a question here. We need to say good night to Bearded Lunchbox, and Ashley Ammerman had a question about what's the best home defense gun for a lady. And
That's a big question, Ashley.
That is a
Yeah.
great question. I'd like to
Yeah.
hear everybody on the panel's answer to that one.
well, I'm obviously not wrong because Dave Thorzak said the same thing I did. So I recommended a 20 gauge pump shotgun, but this is the right answer. Go to a range that rents guns and find one that fits you,
Mhm.
that you feel comfortable with. Uh, that one right there is not a bad success. Uh,
Yeah.
That's a good choice.
Find one and shoot 500 rounds through it. Rental is a good way to start,
Yep.
and shoot a bunch of rounds through it, and make sure that it's comfortable for you and you feel confident with how the firearm works, and that you can, point and shoot and hit something within, 10 yards or so, and try several. But I like the idea of a shotgun in the house. That's what's going to work. You talk about point and shoot. That's what's going to get the job done.
so Mike Hester agrees, and so does Garage Guy. Actually, a 9 millimeter comes in so many different platforms that
And then
yeah,
I'd have a question on that. Top of that, she's thinking 9. Because I worked at a gun shop for 6 years. First thing, if she's thinking 9, I would have her try to rack a slide, say on a Glock. If she can rack that slide, she can rack 90% of the guns on the market. If she can't rack that slide, I'm going to go with a Smith & Wesson 9 EZ or
Mhm.
Smith & Wesson
380.
new, the 380, or well, they just came out with what's called the Equalizer early this year, where it's kind of a mix of the Shield 2.0, so it's getting a single to double stack, and a mix of the EZ, so it's got that nice big frame, but still has that easy slide. And I've shot it, great gun. It all just depends on how much can you rack that slide, because if you have to use it in self-defense, you're going to be stressed. And
Right.
if you have to have
What he's
malfunction-
talking about, Ashley, is inside the slide, there's a big old strong spring that absorbs recoil and helps sort of reset the firearm if you're not familiar. And that spring is pretty tight in a lot of the 9 millimeter firearms, even the Glocks.
Mhm.
My former girlfriend couldn't do it on my Glock 34, the Glock, 23, all the ones I had. She couldn't do it,
Yeah, Glock 19
and
is the
ended
first
up with
gun I
that
hand them.
Smith. She ended up with a Smith
Yep.
380 EZ, and the EZ, capital E, capital Z, has a lighter spring in it, and it's very easy. She can rack it this way, or she can pull it back and slingshot it. Um, so that's a good option, but I still think the scattergun's a better way
Yeah.
to go.
Another thing is,
Same-
all depends on
same
how
with
your
my
house is set
wife.
up.
She would have hurt herself trying to rack a slide on those guns, and the easy shield. I mean, she has no problem with it. I mean, it's a good deal for that. And then I also know somebody that has arthritis in their hand, and they actually carry that because of that reason.
Good point. I'm getting there. It's getting harder and harder for me to do it.
okay,
You know,
listen,
I got it right here.
Nick, Milsurp Duo, one thing you're going to have to understand. Uh, I'll wait till he gets back. He needs to understand some things about. Uh, yeah, I kind of like pump shotguns, and the reason why is you just point them, and they're easier to handle, especially a 20 gauge. That it's just that sound, you know, and and Jason Stewart got it right too. If you got a big dog, that deters.
Yeah.
But
But the shotgun, you can shoot from the hip, shoot from the shoulder, shoot from the
Hobbies
midsection.
Hobo had a pretty good question. I don't know, probably about 45 seconds up in the side chat. Want to know about antimony.
Yeah, no. Or
No.
pure antimony. Antimony melts at a very, very,
Very, very high
temperature.
temperature. You can't
Yeah,
use it.
and you generally can't do it that way. When you get like from Roto Metals has their super hard, they call it. It's
Yeah.
30% antimony, and
That's
it's
the most
already
favorite one.
pre-mixed. and you got to keep it stirred up because of that. But you can't melt antimony, pure antimony, in your lead casting pot. It's like 2,600 degrees or something. It's way
Yeah,
up
it's
there.
really wicked high. Yeah.
Tommy Boy says that you can, if you get it hot enough and let it sit long enough. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, but it's beyond what most people can get the temperature to.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to hold it with a pair of ice grips and a acetylene torch.
You never know what you're going to learn on a Friday night here at the Georgia Connection.
Yeah. Yeah, buying super hard or linotype is pretty high in antimony. Either of those two are how I think most of us, get the antimony into our alloy instead of trying to do it with pure antimony. And if you mix either of those two into your lead pot and then walk away from it, then antimony is lighter than the lead, and it'll separate out and kind of float to the top and look like cottage cheese up there and stuff. And you'll think it's dross and skim it off, and that's not good either. So you got to keep that stuff mixed up. But
Jamie,
All
count us down.
three. And 3, 2, 1.
Hey!
Mario
Uh,
lives just like right over there from me, you guys.
So,
Not
Bama
far.
Dad, what goes on here is your clip-on wheel weights are already mixed with antimony in there and some tin. And what you got to be careful of is when you're smelting that lead down to put it into ingots, you want to make sure that you put some sawdust in there. You got to flux that stuff to get those elements back into your lead. And I've got a 5-gallon bucket out there with some lead that obviously a person did not flux that lead when they put it into ingots. The lead was given to me by somebody that already put it into ingots. Well, it casts like crap. It's always got lines and stuff like that in it. And I can take one of Andy's little tin lead discs, pop that thing in there, let it melt, stir it up again, and all is well.
Going back to hardness, is if anybody's interested in a actual like lead hardness chart that you can put in, like say you get 5 pounds of pure lead, 5 pounds of tin, 5 pounds of antimony or whatever, and you can put all this in there and it'll actually give you a Brunel hardness down at the bottom. So if anybody's interested in it, I can send it to you. Send me an email at millsrpduo@gmail.com. It's a nice interactive chart you can just play with. So
Yeah, there was a fellow over on, I forget now if it was Cast Bullets or it was one of the forums. I can't remember his name. I should, because I use his all the time, and it was a spreadsheet.
mm-hmm.
And it was his formulas that he used were close. They weren't perfect,
Yeah.
but they would give you a pretty darn good idea. And it lets you. And he's got a whole list of stuff. It's probably the same one you're talking about, Nick.
It probably is. I haven't seen very many out there.
Yeah,
I haven't had it open in a while.
It's on Cast Bullet Forum too.
Yeah, I think that's where I got it from initially.
Yeah.
What was that? What's that guy's name over there? I can't remember. I should know offhand. I use it so often. But anyway, yeah, you just punch in, what metals you're mixing, and then how many pounds of each, and down at the bottom it says, hey, here's what your percentages of each are going to be, and here's what your BHN is going to be, and it will be close. It won't be perfect, but it will be close enough for our
The thing
our
is,
kind of work.
most of us, the alloys we're using are not 100% what we think they are.
Right.
Wheel weights across the country are not all the same, and
Right.
they're not all consistent.
Right. And neither is
So-
range scrap.
Yeah, of course, range scrap isn't. If you think about it, I mean, I chuckle every time I hear somebody say that range scrap is this. No,
No.
your range scrap may be that, but all range scrap could be anything. If you're mining lead at a place that only allows muzzle loading rifles, you're not going to get as
all lead.
far.
Yeah, we lost CW, but yeah, you're gonna get softer lead.
Has the hardest bullets going, and they give out free bullets to everybody who shoots on the range. That lead is going to be way harder. So the inconsistencies are just spellbinding, and
Right.
when you have people question what I did this and I can't get it hard as you say you did, and sometimes when I quench my lead it doesn't get hard at all. Well, there's all kinds of reasons for that, and Walter and I know we just had a thread about this on a forum that we're both on. But
it's kind of an art.
Your alloys, you don't know what you have, and you can't make an educated decision as to what you're going to get. So the best way to do this kind of stuff, if you want to know, is to buy stuff from places like Rotometals, and you're buying known alloys. Then you can mix and get a pretty good approximation of what you want to get. But until you know what you're putting in the recipe, you can't get any kind of accurate, result.
Yeah,
and you can test it yourself, and I know CW does this also. But every time I get a new batch of rain scrap stuff and I mix it up, and now I've got 2 pots going, one for one alloy and one for another one, and every time I mix up a new batch and drop it out of that pot, I take a bullet, run it through the whole process with everything else, run it through the baking process and stuff, but with no powder coat, and I test it, and I see where that stuff is. And usually I'm within 1 or 2 BHN points of what I thought it was going to be, but not always. Every once in a while you get a surprise. So you test your own, and the powder coat mitigates a little bit of the need for the harder lead to a certain extent. If you powder coat, you can do with a little bit less hard lead, but
and lead also seasons. If you've got antimony and copper and arsenic and tin and all this in it, it's going to season, which means it's going to get harder and harder the longer it sits to a point. And it actually would get softer too if it sits long enough. Yeah. So there's so many variables to make an absolute statement that it is going to be this is just a fallacy.
You just can't do it. It's an art, more of an art than a science. Let's talk about Chad Kelly's question down here. And if you haven't seen Chad Kelly's channel yet, he's done a 6 Creedmoor build over the last 6-8 weeks or so, Chad, and he went out and shot this thing yesterday, and he built himself a gun, you guys. He tested it at first at 50 yards, and he put his first 3 rounds out of that thing into a pencil hole. And I'm not talking about a clover leaf. I'm talking about if you stood in front of the target and poked it with a pencil, all 3 rounds went into that hole. He was smiling and dialing on that one. But anyway, he's got a good question down here. Let's look at that.
I don't understand his question.
He shot it and his bolt knob came loose.
What bolt knob? What? I don't understand bolt knob.
The
handle on the bolt?
Yeah.
They're solid. I don't know what kind of an action is it?
Impact action. They may be a screw on the inside.
There's a little set screw. Yeah.
If it's got an extended bolt knob on it that somebody's tapped and threaded on, those are usually fine thread, and it's probably just needs a thread locker or something on it. Mm-hmm. There is no wrench flats or anything on it. I would just take it off, take it apart, clean it up real good, get it good and dry, no oils, and put a new thread locker on it and put it back on and let it sit for 24 hours or so. Okay.
Yeah, you're just going to have to put that in a vise and put a rag around it and grab it with some channel locks.
Just get some thread locker on it. Yeah, but take it apart and clean it inside and out. No oils.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, Mike. Good night, Rebel. All right, we got to start going through the room. There's your question from Info Bros. Scotsman, you go first. Okay, you done saw it. He's going to email. So, Scotsman, you want to say goodnight first?
Sure, man. Appreciate being here, number one. Always good to be here with you guys. Side chat was rocking and rolling. So thank you guys. Be sure and smash the thumbs up. Definitely helps out. And if you guys haven't seen the video again, please jump over and watch the video. But we have someone in need, Lakeview Outdoors, Tony, and if you can help out, please do so. And if you want to have the opportunity to win something very cool, then you have that opportunity. You have the option of what you want to do there. So, other than that, that's really all I got. Hope to see you guys Sunday night. And I'm going to throw it to that guy.
All right. Hey, once again, just a real thrill to be here. This side chat, you guys are just so awesome. I love showing up here on Friday night and interacting with all you folks. So, Jamie and the rest of you, thanks so much for inviting me in to participate. I won't take up too much time here. I got Moldy Monday coming up Monday, and this is going to be a three-fer. I got 3 moles that I'm doing at once because there's not going to be any shooting video because I don't own a firearm in the caliber that I cast these with. So instead of me shooting, you get to see 3 different moles getting cast. So that's what I got coming up, and a couple other videos in the works. So once again, thanks so much. And Scotsman, you'll be hearing from me shortly. And the rest of you guys over there, listen to Scotsman. Tony can use our help. And we all help each other, as you've been seeing and watching. If you're paying attention, this is a good community. So jump in there, $1, $5, $10, whatever you can do it. So, all right, that's it for me. We'll see you next Friday night. Thanks for being here, everybody. Who's up next? We're going to go to Scotsman.
Thanks for being here, Walter.
All right.
Scotsman gave it to you. So
He
let's
did.
go down to Gene at the hot pot.
I love our family. I really do. It's just the way we roll, brothers and sisters. It's the way we roll. We take care of each other, and that's what family does. So everybody have a great Friday night. Have a blessed weekend. Take good care of yourselves and your loved ones. And always remember to keep blowing the smoke.
Thanks for being here, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Hope we didn't get you in trouble with the little lady.
She understands.
Mr.
She's one of
Hillbilly,
us.
what you got coming up, brother? Saturday night?
Hang on. She blew a bunch of smoke over here. Anyway, walk the other way, buddy. Well, guys, I just want to thank you so much for having me on. I always enjoy Friday nights. I mean, it's a blast to be here. I have so much fun. Oh man, see, tomorrow night, Saturday nights, that's my live show and called Guns, Beer, and Therapy, and we do that at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, and we just try to have a lot of fun on there. So if you ain't done nothing, and appreciate you jumping over and visiting with us, and got some great videos coming out. I really can't give any hints about them yet because they just kind of give it away. But yeah, I got some good stuff lined out up and heading out next week. So anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. And like I said, I love this community too. Scotsman, it's a great thing that you brought the attention for one of our, brothers needing some help in his family. So make sure we'll all get over there and try to help towards that. And I'll get with you and see, put out another video or something, at least get people over to your place, your channel or something. And we'll get it focused, and try to help a family out, buddy. So appreciate you being the person that you are and always helping, jumping in there head first, buddy. So thank you.
Very good. Thanks for being here, brother. Hope to see you tomorrow night.
You betcha.
Mr. Nick Millsarp Duo, it's great having you on for the first time. Hopefully, you'll want to come back. But for future reference, we don't say that ugly G word here. Uh, love you, brother, but yeah.
Yeah, thanks again for letting me have me on again, Jamie. I know I'm always in the side chat every so often when I get free time, and yeah, if you haven't checked out the channel, it's kind of on a standstill right now until I get in the house and get a bench built. I really concentrate on mill serps, as you can see in the name. But yeah, odd thing, if you haven't ever, I know a lot of people in the side chat already watch it. I see a lot of names I recognize. Tuesday nights at 7:05 Central, we have the Reloading podcast as well. So if you ever want to watch something more reloading information wise, check us out. We have a lot of knowledge on that as well. And yeah, I know Jamie, you and I have talked about having maybe just a specific show on talking about milsurp. So yeah, we'll figure that out for the future.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that. I only have two or three. Um, I've got I've got an 8 millimeter Mauser, and I have a Finish M39. So we'll get together and do that. That'd be a good workshop on. We'll do a live, but we'll record it and then we'll release it on both channels. That'd be fun.
Sounds good. Yeah, hopefully by then I'll have my annealer. I want to get a nice little bench top lathe when I get the bench built. So I'm gonna try to get some nice big tools for down there. So
Well, we appreciate you being here with us, man. You've been fun, and
absolutely.
uh, hopefully you'll want to come back.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, so, Mr. Kyle Lusk, what you got coming up?
I just want to say a happy thank you and give appreciation to Nick for being here tonight and everybody else on the panel, Hillbilly, Gene, Scotsman, Walter, CW. Thank y'all all for being here. I'm dealing with somebody from the Department of Defense. They're in my house. It's Angel's brother.
So, Kyle, tomorrow for breakfast we're having eggs, bologna, and gravy. Just so
Where
you know, at my house. Yeah, that's a Tom T. Hall song. So, did DJ Play Nice? Did we get you squared away, brother? I know I've been trying to get in touch with you for a week and a half, but I think you sent me an email. We got you squared away.
Can I not finish saying goodnight to everybody?
Yes, but I had to say that while we had him.
I want to thank everybody in the side chat for doing everything that y'all do, and y'all are what keeps us going. And the great panel that we have is awesome, and just thank you everybody, and have a wonderful weekend and stay safe. How about that?
Cool, Kyle. Thank you, brother. Yeah, just to clarify. Um, okay, thanks, DJ. Appreciate you, brother. He said we got an email going, so that's. I'm old. I forget these things. To clarify, Kyle gave me some smoked bologna last weekend, and I've been thinking about that Tom T. Hall song, "A Week in a County Jail," ever since he gave me the bologna. But if y'all don't know that song, go look it up.
No Jiffy mixed cornbread.
Do what?
No Jiffy mixed cornbread.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Jiffy does not make cornbread or claim to.
So, y'all be a good example for Nick now. I had to tell him we don't say the G word, and now you're talking about Jiffy cornbread. So.
I don't even use Jiffy cornbread mix. I'll tell you that right now.
There was
gonna be
no
the J
such
word.
thing as Jiffy cornbread mix.
There's corn muffin mix.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
You don't
Johnny
watch
bread, corn muffins, not
You don't watch
cornbread.
We're gonna
somebody
have,
shooting
we're
Glocks, you
gonna
gotta go to
have to
Bubba's
ban the
channel.
J word.
CW, help me, brother. Come on. Say goodnight. Tell them what you got coming up this week.
Bring us home,
Hi.
brother.
I have nothing planned, but we'll see what we come up with. Like I said, I had a full week this week, and we'll see what next week brings. But I'm glad we had a really nice chat tonight. Welcome, Nick, to the panel. It was really good talking to you, man. And thanks to the side chat, a lot of good stuff going on. We didn't even get to a lot of the topics we had thought. Some of the topics we had thought about, but we got on that bench topic, and it really took off. And it was a lot of great information flowing both ways. So hopefully, we got Jamie with all the information he needed, and we helped out Nick with his bench build. And keep that stuff in mind, guys. We're very driven by you guys in the side chat. So if you've got stuff you want to talk about, bring it up and make sure we see it. And for sure, we'll get it talked about.
Can I just say one more thing?
No.
Okay.
Of
Just
course.
did.
Angel's brother, I'm just gonna call him Jay because I can't really give his name out. He was like, "What kind of people do you hang out with?" And he walked in the reloading room and went, "What the hell?"
Hey,
goes,
talk about a
"Well,"
ragtag team.
he said, I'm coming down here if shit goes sideways." I said, "You're more than welcome."
Yeah, I think that's the point of our Friday night live streams is to help our viewers and help our community. It's a great thing what we're doing. I'll have a video coming up next week about what's going on with the fundraiser for Tony Lakeview
Yeah.
Outdoors. We'll get that rocking and a rolling and see how quick we can.
Shoot me an email with a link. All right.
You'll just have to get with Jason, get with him about what to do. So he gave out his email. So y'all email Scotsman if you want to make a donation, and we'll work it out. We've got, let's see, Monday nights we got MacMan. Tuesday night is the Reloading podcast. Wednesday night is Chris from the 740. Thursday night we're starting to see AR get back active a little bit, and 76 Highboy Reloading. Of course, Friday night we do this, followed by Gizzard Gary. He's probably already started. He's probably mad at me for going so long. Then Saturday we got G23, Uncle Jim, and the American Hillbillies Guns, Beer, and Therapy show. Then Sunday we have uh, the Trapper at 2 o'clock Eastern time, and then at 7 o'clock we have the Sunday Night Roundtable on the Scottish American channel. Also, let's see, Caliber Corner. Travis P11 has moved to Monday nights at 5 o'clock. So right as you're getting off of work on the East Coast, he's doing that thing he does. So anything else?
I
You'll
just
never
forgot
need to
one
leave
thing.
your
If I
house,
could
man.
say it real quick. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Hillbilly.
I was just going to say I forgot. I have a short that just came out. Just the last little bit here. If you get a chance, go see it. I had a problem with a hard seltzer sneaking up behind me, so
Did you get it?
I got it.
Good.
It
And
took a mirror.
I'll just leave y'all with saying that's one less hard seltzer in the world. I'm proud of myself.
Sir. Dang right, buddy.
So yeah, that's it. Lord willing, and we hope he'll bless y'all real good. And if he's willing, we'll see you next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say goodnight.